So I was very lucky to see Predestination, and sometime during the last 33 or so minutes of the film, this is what happened. Mind blown. Okay, so this should be a pretty quick review because I do not want to give anything away. This is one of those films that you need to see, and if I talk about almost anything, it could be spoilers. So as best as I can describe it without trying to spoil too much, basically Predestination is a time-traveling movie. And it stars Ethan Hawke, who is this agent that goes back in time to stop certain catastrophes from happening. And so the whole story is about him during this one mission as he's pretending to be this bartender, and this guy walks in and tells Ethan Hawke his life story. And I don't want to give too much away. I'm just going to say that it was freaking amazing. I found this movie incredibly entertaining. Not only for its time traveling and its paradoxes and these crazy things that happen in the movie, especially towards the last 33 minutes of the film, but I was completely engaged with the story that this guy tells Ethan Hawke. The bar scene, this whole life story that happens, is about an hour of the movie practically, and that's saying a lot because this movie is pretty short. It's about an hour and 33 minutes, and having that whole, so obviously if you're expecting completely action throughout the whole movie, this might not be a film that you'll love. It might be a film that you might actually dislike because it tells this person's life story for about an hour of the film. So it might be a little slow for some. However, this story that this person tells is just so incredibly crazy, and it's just simply amazing. And it sets the entire foundation for the last 33 minutes of the film. And without that, the last 33 minutes will be confusing as hell. Okay? It still might be confusing, but I think I got most of it. Just prepare to have your mind blown, but if you figure out one of the twists, you'll probably figure out the rest of them. That's what happened for me, unfortunately. There are practically only two people in this entire film, at least two main characters, and they're played by Ethan Hawke, who is incredible as always, and a fairly newcomer that I had not heard about. She was in Jezebel, which came out last year, and technically this movie came out last year, even though it's a January film of 2015. And her name is, I had to look it up, Sarah Snook, and she was incredible in this movie. Arguably, she might have even been better than Ethan Hawke in this movie, and that's saying something. The only minor critique I can say about this film, and it is pretty minor to me because ultimately I love this film. Unfortunately, just as almost every time-traveling movie, it isn't perfect. But just like every other time-traveling movie, it leaves more questions than answers. Like almost every time-traveling movie, I start thinking about it, and ultimately sometimes things just don't make sense. Now obviously you can enjoy this movie if you just don't think about it, and just let the movie be what it is and just take your leap of faith. And that's what I do whenever I see a time-traveling movie, and I enjoyed it. But if you've seen the movie, like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but if you've seen it, Well, it leaves the question on how did this all get started. I mean, you don't get anything about how the time traveling device was made. It's just made. But at the same time, when you get all the twists and all the twists happen, and you get the complete story, it's still unanswered about with how all this happens. Like it's sort of like I don't know how to explain it. It's like a time loop or a time paradox or whatever you want to call it, and it leaves me wondering how that all got started. I don't want to give too much away. If you've seen the movie, and comment below, and I'll tell you more about what I'm talking about. But I'm always interested on hearing what people's take for this type of movie is, on what they think of what happened, and their assumptions. Another thing I loved about this movie is the ending, and it's left, without trying to spoil anything, it is left with more of an open ending than most films, and I thought that was really great because if you think about it, the character at the end of the movie has two choices, and then the more open ending lets us decide what path this person ultimately chooses in the end. And there's enough there throughout the movie, and enough there in that final scene where you can argue either way. Totally, you can argue either way, and I'm curious what other people think how it ended. But overall, Predestination is definitely a great film. It's not. I didn't like it as much as Selma, so it's out of the two movies I've seen this year, it is number 2. I'm about halfway done with Inherent Vice, and then I'll be seeing American Sniper and Woman in Black 2 tomorrow. So I'll have those reviews hopefully pretty soon. But Predestination, yet another 4.5 stars. Oh, I'm starting to sound like a broken record. I've only have 3 movie reviews on this site, and all 3 of them are 4.5 stars. Hopefully, well, I'm pretty sure Woman in Black 2 will not be a 4.5 star, and hopefully I'll have a different rating eventually. So, Predestination, have you seen it? What did you think about it? What do you think the main character chose at the end of the movie? And what do you think about the whole paradox and looping thing? And I'm just interested on what other people have to say about this movie, because it's definitely pretty damn original, and it is a mind blower for sure. Or on another note, if you haven't seen it, what is your favorite time traveling movie of all time? So I'm BruceGifford, and this was Just My Opinion.